Today is Easter, or Resurrection Sunday. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is another Declaration of Truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. In this video, we're going to look at how important Easter really is, what actually happened on the first Easter, the ridiculous way some people want to explain it away, and two ways we can know that Easter is a fact on which we can rely. First, I want to shout out to the sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views, link in the description. And be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down to the bottom for that link. Lots of good merchandise there, including this highly appropriate t-shirt, Rhino Hunting. And now, pay close attention, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm not going to talk about candy or that colorful German invention, the Easter Bunny. I want to talk about something a lot more important and profound. Easter is the biggest deal of all Christian tradition. Without it, there is no Christianity. Easter happened, as nearly as we can reckon it, 1993 years ago, give or take a year. The dispute centers on how many Sabbaths the ancient Jews were observing at the time, one or two. Technically, Passover is a Sabbath by itself, and the original Greek speaks of events after the Sabbaths, plural. It also turns on the meaning of phrases like 3 days or third day. We do know that the earlier event, the crucifixion, happened under a full moon. We know that because Passover always falls on a full moon by Jewish law. That the crucifixion happened on Passover is no accident, and in fact, we can truly say that Jesus planned it that way. Whoa, 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 I hear you say. How does one plan his own death? Folks, he's God, which puts him above time, so we can plan anything. Why did he do it? To make a complete blood sacrifice for all the sins every human being had committed or would ever commit. Atonement for sin requires the shedding of blood. Jesus came to atone with his own blood. The Roman soldiers who carried out this sentence said something ridiculous. They said if he were to come down from the cross, then they might believe in him. First, he would do them one better, rise out of a tomb 3 days later. Second, if he had come down from the cross, that would defeat the purpose for which he came to earth. The resurrection is what we celebrate on Easter Day, always the Sunday following the full moon that falls after the first day of spring. Easter fell so late this year because a full moon rose the day before the first day of spring. In fact, another full moon rose only yesterday. And today's celebration ends that holy week that began last week with Palm Sunday. To this day, scholars dispute exactly where the Jews of Judea laid Jesus to rest. Some favor a spot within the old city of Jerusalem. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre stands on that site. But others favor another site, a tomb immediately outside the old city with a garden surrounding it. I visited the site exactly 11 years ago and took pictures. In the article, to which I have a link in the description, I have created a gallery of my 4 best pictures. They include exterior and interior of the tomb and the great circular tombstone. The former tax farmer named Matthew, or Levi, tells us that a messenger from God rolled the stone away so that people could enter it and see for themselves. Jesus was not there. That explains the great angelic message. He is risen. By the way, Matthew also tells us of the obvious explaining away story, that Jesus' disciples stole the body the night before that first Easter. The full story shows how ridiculous that rumor was. First, the Jews insisted to Pilate that someone might steal the body to lend credence to his prophecy. So, Pilate posted a guard on the tomb, but that proved unavailing. Jesus moved where he willed, when he willed. He need never have conformed to human or physical limits. He observed them only to avoid confusion. Remember when he first said a prophet was not without honor except in his own hometown? How do you think he escaped that time? Literally by teleporting himself away, which shows again that he went willingly to his death on the cross. But when a messenger from God rolled the stone away, he shone with a very bright light. That frightened those guards as nothing else could have. In all their military careers, they'd never seen a sight like that. Now what? A big circular stone rolls away from the tomb and no body. What happened? Matthew says the Jews paid a bribe to the guards to say someone stole the body. That must have meant some bribe, because the penalty for sleeping on watch was death. Then again, those guards would not have cared to admit that this man was a god better than Jupiter Optimus Maximus. Today, too few people still remember what Easter was about, because men like John Dewey and Roger Baldwin of ACLU fame have labored deliberately to teach atheism, but the naysayers have problems. Last week I mentioned Peter Stoner's showing that the probability of 48 prophecies just happening to fall out as they did was less than 1 in 10,000 quinquagintillion. But we also have this interesting testimony from Charles Colson of Watergate fame. He writes, and I quote, "I know the resurrection is a fact, and Watergate proved it to me. How? Because 12 men testified they had seen Jesus raised from the dead. Then they proclaimed that truth for 40 years, never once denying it. Everyone was beaten, tortured, stoned, and put in prison. They would not have endured that if it weren't true." Watergate embroiled 12 of the most powerful men in the world, and they couldn't keep alive for 3 weeks. You're telling me 12 apostles could keep alive for 40 years? Absolutely impossible. Unquote Charles Colson. Well, we don't really need Peter Stoner to quote us odds on that, because we have the letters of Paul of Tarsus and of a few other men who knew what happened that first Easter. Only one of them, John of Jerusalem, John the Beloved, died peacefully in a regular bed. The others all died under sentence of execution or from mob violence. Remember that when someone tries to tell you that the events of that first Easter never happened. Links in the description to the article. And be sure to check it out to see the gallery from the Garden Tomb and the conservative news and views. I have another link to the awesome online store, as I mentioned. And if you like what you saw today, you can like this video and subscribe to this channel. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free. Happy Easter. That is, happy Resurrection Day.